Hi everybody, it's Jason Nast. I'm very excited and proud to be here with you to teach you about crowdfunding and what you need to know to master the secrets of crowdfunding. This is a super exciting opportunity for you because really, if you've got information products in your head, in your heart, you want to get them out to the masses, this is what we're here to talk about today. Crowdfunding information products. Now, I've been doing a lot of training on this. I've been working tirelessly for the past 2 years on learning all there is to know about crowdfunding, and I have specialized in information products so that I can help you as a book author, writer, producers, directors, entertainers, musicians, to help you take your information product to the next level. If it's okay with you, I'd like to take a few moments to just give you a little background about myself, and then we'll get jump started right in to the crowdfunding program. Well, my name is Jason Nast, and I have been actively involved in the film industry for about 30 years. I started when I was 15 years old and built a great studio with my partners. We did all of the import car commercials basically for the 80s and 90s. It was a great opportunity for me to learn the industry. Not only did we do car commercials and work in some of the great manufacturers like Toyota and Mitsubishi and Nissan and Mazda, we did Ford, Jaguar, we did some really cool Sterling, you don't even know what that is anymore. We had some great products there, but we also delved deep into the rock video world back when MTV actually meant music television. You might remember that. And we were basically the West Coast MTV studios. And when the times were slower between the car commercials and the rock video world, we got actively involved in infomercial production. And we did like the Craftmatic adjustable beds and contour chairs with my good friend and mentor, and God rest his soul, Art Linkletter. And we basically got deep into that. I thought, what a great opportunity. So after I left the industry and started to consult in branding and marketing and working with great companies out there like SBC Communications, Levi Strauss, Fortune 500 companies, Bridgestone Firestone, and others, and some of our branding, marketing, and our products and services that we've worked with have been featured in Inc. magazine, Fortune magazine. We've been featured multiple times on Inc. 500 and Fortune 500 lists. Featured in Car and Driver, USA Today, just amazing plethora of things. But really the big excitement in my life was back when I was doing the infomercial production, video, rock video world. So I got deep involved about 10 years ago into developing infomercial products. We did a lot of great products and had a great run, excited about it, and still do that today. But one of the things that I noticed was as the infomercial product development started to decline, infomercial product development started to decline, information products started to increase. The trend was up. And the idea is that if you can create a very solid information product, I think we're going to do very well over the next 3 to 5 years. Now, looking forward 3 to 5 years, I have to look back into the 80s, 90s, when things were a little different, but very similar to what we're experiencing today. We don't have quite the interest rates that we had back then, but we did have a tough job economy, and we did have some tough times for some people. And during those times, the products started to decline, and the information products like Tony Robbins and Anthony Robbins, the great guru of personal development, came onto the scene. And Robert Allen and Mark Victor Hansen, Carlton Sheets, we had a whole slew of amazing opportunities through information-based product, personal self-improvement, personal development, and opportunities to work at home. Now, the people I'm talking with you today, I'm talking to you today about your information product. Now, I also want to talk to you about funding your information product. But know that while we're funding your information product, we're also branding and marketing your information product, and that's what you get special with me. No one in the industry is going to teach you how to market, brand, and to really promote your product and brand and your services along with raising money along the path. So this is what makes this whole entire process super exciting to me, because not only do I get to see some phenomenal information products being developed, being fully funded and brought to the world, but I also get to watch them. They're trending. And if I see some really choice information products that I think would be right for TV, it's a great opportunity to pre-test that market through crowdfunding. So it's like a focus group that you don't have to pay for, that actually pays you to test your products. So it's going to be really super exciting to get deep into the crowdfunding campaign and talk to you about how you best practices around that. So let's talk about crowdfunding and how you get crowdfunded today. You know, I like to look, oh, I forgot, a bonus. That's right. So I want to thank you, first of all, for showing up. You know, 80% of success in life is just showing up. So if you will do this for me right now, I want you to take your hand, I want you to reach around behind you, because if I was with you, I'd do this. I'd reach around and I'd give you a pat on the back and I'd say, thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up, because 80% of success is showing up, but remember, there 20% is the action you take after you showed up. So we're going to test that action ability right now. I'm going to give you a free gift. I'm going to incent you with what I like to call an ethical bribe. The ethical bribe is simple. You're going to whip out your cell phone right now, or at any time during this presentation. I'm not going to give you this slide again, so this is your time to write it down or to go ahead and do it. You're going to text the word success to the number 50500. And when you do, you're going to get my contact information here at the office, my email address, and you're going to get two links to bonuses that I'm going to give to you. There's no opt-in, they're direct links, and I'm going to talk about those bonuses, those free gifts, throughout the presentation. One of the gifts is a resource list that gives you great resources that are in most cases free. And if they're not free, they're very low cost point of entry. The things like audio editing software, video editing software, photo editing software, great places to create models and mocks of your books and your CDs. So really cool free resources, and there's a few paid resources, but mostly free resources in there for you to get funded and to help your crowdfunding campaign. I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about some of the sites that you're going to use, and those are included in the resource list as well. The other free gift I'm going to give you is called the known quantity list, and I'm going to talk about that at great length later on in the program. So text the word success to 50500, get your two free bonuses now. And if you'd like more information after that, you can always reach out and contact me through the links that I provide. So let's go ahead and talk about now the 10 steps to crowdfunding. I like starting off with a gift. Isn't it nice? Well, before we get to the 10 steps to crowdfunding, I want to talk about the 3 sites to crowdfunding. Now, the 3 sites to crowdfunding that we're going to be talking about is Kickstarter.com, Indiegogo.com, and authorcrowdfunding.com. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share my screen with you over here, and I'm going to give you some opportunities to see what these sites look like. So let me do this really quickly. Take me just a moment. Okay, almost there. Excellent. So we're trying to get there. There we go. So now we're on the Kickstarter.com website. Now at Kickstarter, you have some great opportunities. The opportunities available to you at Kickstarter are simple. You have the opportunity to actually raise your money. It's it is the largest crowdfunding resource available today. And it is basically funded and founded by Jeff Bezos from Amazon. So when you go to Kickstarter, if you're a contributor on Kickstarter, you click the button, and what happens is that you then become you get to fund your program or contribute to your program through Amazon. So it's a really nice, easy interface. You can use the one-click contribution through Amazon. And the drawback to being on Kickstarter is that it is an all or nothing campaign, meaning that if your goal is to raise $10,000 and you only raise $9,974, you get no money. It all goes back to the contributors. So it is an all or nothing campaign. The other thing I want to talk about Kickstarter is that it is also a very big site. There are a lot of multi-million-dollar programs going on there. Zach Braff has one going on there right now. Because of that, it's sometimes harder to be considered a featured product, a featured film, and if that's a featured crowdfunding project. And if that's your goal, is to be featured on Kickstarter and get mailed out to their list, you can actually be disappointed at that. So I don't want you to be disappointed. So, but consider that it may or may not be the right place for you to go. There's also an application process with Kickstarter that you have to be accepted. And so you're not going to be able to create a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter and kick it off in 24 hours like you can on the other two sites I'm talking about. So if your goal is to get started right away, Kickstarter may not be the right opportunity for you. The other site I'm going to talk about here is Indiegogo, and this is actually really cool. This is the tricorder. Hey, hang on, you went away. There you go. This is the actual tricorder they're talking about. It's actually the first medical tricorder, and it's a very cool program going on right now. But this is Indiegogo, and Indiegogo is actually the first commercially viable crowdfunding site. It was created in 2008 at Sundance to help filmmakers get their films greenlit as a way for them to be out in the field and actually at Sundance and actually get people to contribute to their programs. And the good news about Indiegogo is while it was the first real commercial crowdfunding site, it's really the second largest today. It is still very large and still multi-million-dollar programs going on there. So it's very difficult to be featured on the site. In order to get featured on either of those sites, you're really going to have to raise at least half to two-thirds of your funding goal in the first 24 to 48 hours. And even then, it's still kind of iffy because it's such a big site. There's so many people on it that it does, you've got a lot of competition out there. I like to think of Indiegogo and Kickstarter as you kind of being a little fish in a big pond. And that's why I went and let's check out this other one. It's called Author Crowdfunding. And Author Crowdfunding up here, Author Crowdfunding is really an opportunity for you to be a big fish in a smaller pond. Author Crowdfunding is crowdfunding for everyone, and it does let you easily create a campaign. Literally, I will teach you step by step in my program how you can launch your campaign on authorcrowdfunding.com in as little as 30 minutes. So it's a pretty easy to use site, super easy to share, and very fast. Now the biggest advantage of Author Crowdfunding is that Kickstarter is an all or nothing campaign. Indiegogo offers all or nothing or flexible funding, which means that if you're in Indiegogo and you want to raise $10,000, you only raise $9,000, you can actually take the $9,000 out. You get it. Well, on Author Crowdfunding, the ability to raise the money is there. If your goal is $10,000 and you only raise $6,000 in 20 days, you can actually start to pull that money out before you finish your crowdfunding campaign. So if you're trying to get a program, for example, you're writing a book, and let's say you're going to raise $2,500 to write a book, and in the first 2 days you raise $1,500, so you're well on your way. You can actually start pulling some money out, send it off to a graphic designer to get your book cover done, send it off to your formatter to get your formatting done. So that way you can actually spend the money while you're still raising money. And that's a very unique feature on Author Crowdfunding. And one of the reasons that I really like it, along with the idea that you can actually take the money out along the way, but you can also make it happen and be part of it. While you're raising money, you can actually be getting work done. So it's kind of exciting in that respect. I also like the fact that you can be a big fish in a smaller pond on authorcrowdfunding.com. So those are the three sites we're going to be talking about today, and I'll be referencing Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and authorcrowdfunding.com. So now let's talk about the 10 steps to crowdfunding. Now, the 10 Steps to Crowdfunding is a program that I developed. Now, what you're seeing here is the list of the entire audio program that I've created around crowdfunding. And I'm going to go through these 10 steps and give you some of the high points of the crowdfunding audio that I created that walks you through the 10 steps of the program. Now, the introduction to crowdfunding is simple. It is about the different sites that we talked about, Indiegogo, Kickstarter, and authorcrowdfunding.com. The introduction tells you why you want to use one site over another. It breaks down all of the reasons why it's important to consider facts like, is it an international program? Do you use PayPal? Do you use Amazon? Do you use WePay? What different resources that are going to be used to collect the funds? How much those resources cost you? Each crowdfunding site does take a percentage of your percentage of your total intake of funds. So you want to know how much it's going to cost you up front, and I go through all of that for the introduction to crowdfunding. And then when we get into the building of your crowdfunding statement, now this is the part where you're going to start laying out all of the things that you're going to talk about during your campaign. And then we walk you through like I create notepad files. Now on Macs, it might be, there's some other terminology for it. I know that whatever it is you use, you actually have to save it as a TXT file, not an RTF file. I hope that doesn't confuse a lot of people. Don't worry about it. The key is you want to create a text file that has no formatting in it. You just want it to be bare, basic text on paper, if you will. And the key here is to lay out each of your statements, your crowdfunding statements. So what's your benefit? Why are you going to be doing this? Why are you so passionate about your program? Who benefits if your message is released to the world in a big way? Who is going to benefit? How are they going to benefit? What's the cause behind it? You know, I have a person that I work with, a client, her name is Pam. Pam works with autistic children and adults as well, but she has found some really solid ways to create environments that are supportive and help in learning and help the ability to function at higher levels with autistic children and to be able to convey and converse and to really manage that relationship. She's phenomenal in this respect. So who is she going to benefit and how is she going to benefit them? Well, the first thing she's going to do is she's got to get the message out, and it will benefit not only the children but the parents and the grandparents and the people who come in contact with teachers, therapists, there's so many people who are going to benefit as a result of her just getting her message out. So we're going to talk about those things in the building your crowdfunding statement because we want to make sure that you have all of that information together. Now, the elements of your project are very key, and we're going to talk about that specifically right now because one of the things you want to consider is you want to make sure you're using rich media. Rich media is the absolute best thing you could do for your campaign. And what I mean by rich media is not only video, but you're also going to use audio and pictures. Pinterest right now is a huge program. If your demographic is women and your demographic is 35 to 45-year-old women, Pinterest is where you need to be putting a lot of your information. Now that's video and pictures. Those are the two key elements behind Pinterest. Now, I don't want you to get me wrong. If your key demographic is 16-year-old females, you still want to be on Pinterest. If it's 80-year-old females, you still want to be on Pinterest. Now, if you're geared towards men, you can still go on Pinterest, but the reality of it is that Pinterest is more of a female demographic than a male demographic. If your key demographic is men, then we're going to look more towards things like either MySpace, which is great for artists, musicians, things like this, or you're going to go into Facebook and a lot on YouTube. Typically, the male demographic is much more significant in YouTube. But you're going to use these rich media, and I want in your project elements to lay those things out. Lay the foundation. Write the scripts for your videos. Write out, do your photo edits right up front. Get them all done so that they're all stacked, ready to go, uploaded to site so you can share them easily and quickly. You want to make sure all those elements are prepared and ready to go for you. And we talk about that through the crowdfunding audio. But basically, you know what you're doing is you're going to create the video. Now, the key is if you're creating a film project, your quality of your video has to be way up there, way up there. Your editing has to be sharp. If you're doing any effects, make sure they're clean. And even if you're just shooting a 1-minute video, you want to give people a sample of the benefit that you can bring to them through this project that you're trying to crowdfund. So make sure that you do a high quality video when you're doing a film project. Now, anything other than a film project, you can literally shoot it all off your phone or your small high def camera if you've got one of these, or if you've got I used to have it here, if you've got a flip video, something like that, you can shoot those videos right there and they're great. Tripod, if you're alone, don't do the old, this thing right here. Get a friend to hold your camera for you. If you're using your phone, whether it be an iPhone or an Android, always use the back camera to record yourself, not the front camera. The front cameras are always a lower quality, so always use the back of the camera, and then have a friend hold it for you and just shoot your video. People resonate with people who are honest and true and from the heart. They don't need high production value if you're writing a book. You're writing a book, you can say, I'm writing this book because it's going to serve these people, it's going to do these good things in the world. The message is important, and this is why. And I'm passionate about it because this happened in my life, or that happened in my life, or this is how I got educated, and I want to share the information with you. There's great ways to do that. You don't need to do a high quality, high production video. Don't spend the money where you don't have to spend the money. There's places to spend money and places not to spend money. Again, if you're filming a video, a movie, a documentary, your production quality has to be high, or else people are just going to tune it out right away. But as far as the book goes, and most other information-based projects, handheld recordings, if you're a musician, some live recordings from your shows are great. They don't have to be the greatest quality. They just have to have you in it. So let's talk about the next step, which is the crowdfunding budget and how much you need. It is important to understand your budget. Now, I know budget can scare a lot of people, especially artists and creative types, but don't let that freak you out. The budget is simple. If you're creating a book, you need to know how much it's going to cost. You know, do you get a book designer to cover your cover designer to create a book cover for you? You're going to lay out your formatting, your printing costs, ISBN numbers, things like that. You just need to know what it costs. It's relatively simple to budget out. You can create a book and print it and sell it on your own, self-publishing, and you can put 100 books in your garage for as little as $500. And you could probably go up to about $5,000 to get, a couple thousand, maybe 1,000 copies of your book. And depending on the quality, and maybe you have a friend that's a graphic designer, but maybe let's just say you have no friends. Crowdfunding is going to be tough, but let's say you have no friends that are creative and you have to pay for these services. The most you're going to spend is between $2,500 and $5,000 to do a very good quality book and have it printed and have it delivered. And you can share it with your friends and family that way. And you can take it out to networking meetings. So your budget is simple, but get those costs up front. Know how much you need. So that way you can tell people in your crowdfunding campaign, hey, I need $500 to get a graphic designer to do a book cover for me, a good quality book cover. And I need $250 to get this layout done or proofread my book. I need $1,000 for printing copies of the book. And if I raise $1,000, I'm going to give away 50 copies to a local library. I mean, just do stuff like that. Know your basic budget. If you have no clue about your budget and you're going to write a book, then I definitely recommend you go ahead and email me. You've got my contact information from texting me. Go ahead and email me and ask me about some resources. I have some quotes from some publishers that they will adhere to. It's a special price, and they'll adhere to that price throughout the crowdfunding campaign so that you know exactly what the money's going for, and you can kind of do an a la carte, or you can just do I want it done and send me my book, and you know the pricing. And again, that pricing is typically between $2,500 and $5,000 depending on the number of books you need to order, the number of pages and the size and things like that. We've got all that broken down in a little budget sheet for you, and we can share that with you if you don't already have a budget. The next thing is building and leveraging your contributor database. Now, earlier I talked about the known quantity list, and when you texted me, you got a link to the known quantity list. Now, the known quantity list has two elements that I want you to pay attention to. The first part of it is that my information is already in there. So I give you the access to me. I will share your links to my resources. We've got about 80,000 people that we communicate with on crowdfunding projects on a regular basis. We have a group of about 900 people that regularly share crowdfunding projects. So we can share your crowdfunding project to a large resource list if you bring me involved. I've already shared my information in there. You don't have to buy anything to get me to share. You just have to communicate with me and tell me what you need and tell me how you're doing it. And I will promise to share those links for you the number of times that I have indicated in the known quantity list. The second part of the known quantity list is basically the template that I've given you. I want you to use that for other people. There's going to be a specific, people that you can count on to crowdfund for you or to contribute to your crowdfunding campaign. That list, let's say it's mom and dad, okay? You know your mom and dad's gonna contribute, so you give them a call. You say, hey, Mom, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to be going to a crowdfunding project. I'm really excited about it. It's about my new book, and I'm really hoping that you'll contribute to my program. They're going to say, They're going to say, that's great. Jason, I'm so excited. You have so much valuable information to provide for the world. I'm really excited. What's your book going to be about? Well, my book's about crowdfunding, so I'm going to definitely be talking about my crowdfunding stuff, and I'll be talking about marketing and branding and things like this. So this is going to be my book. Mom, Dad, will you contribute? And they're going to be saying, of course we'll contribute. How much do you need, honey? I'm like, well, I'm going to be raising about $2,500, but I just want to know what you're comfortable with. What can you contribute? Well, you can count us in for $50. Perfect. Take the $50, put it in the known quantity list, and then you say this and write this down. This is very important. You're going to write down the words that you're going to say right after they tell you how much they're going to contribute. You're going to say, great, I really appreciate that. Here's what I need you to do. I'm going to be sending you emails and Facebooks and texts and tweets. I'm going to be posting a lot asking you to contribute. I want you to ignore all of them. I don't want you to pay attention to any of those. Instead, what I want you to do is wait till I pick up the phone and call you. When I call you, I need you to contribute within the next 24 hours. Do you think you can do that for me? And of course, they're going to say yes. And you say, thank you so much. That's all I need. Now, I've got you in my known contributor list. I'll call you when I need you. Now, you're going to do this with a lot of your friends, a lot of your people. You're going to make this real personal communication with them long before you launch your crowdfunding campaign, so that the day you launch your crowdfunding campaign, you know two things. You know exactly how much money you can absolutely 100% count on, and you know how many shares you can absolutely 100% count on from this known quantity list. Now, the hope and goal is that you never need them, in which case 24 to 48 hours before the campaign ends, you dump your entire known quantity list into the campaign, which rockets it up through the roof, and everybody gets excited, and you really overfund. That's the goal. But if it doesn't work out that way, now when you launch your campaign and it starts to climb and everything's going really well, and then all of a sudden things start to level out, well, when things start to level out, that's when you call your known quantity list. You say, hey, Mom, I know you said $50. What I need you to do is right now just throw $10 in there. Would you mind doing that? Let them contribute at the $10 level. Give them the $50 perk, but let them contribute at the $10 level. And then you can control the momentum of your crowdfunding campaign that way. And that's really a key element to a successful crowdfunding campaign, is to never let it stall. Never let it stop. You have to keep the momentum going up, because as long as the momentum is going up, then you're going to be more successful. So now the next thing we want to do is we want to talk about your pledges and rewards. And I kind of touched on it, with giving them the $10 level or the $25 level, the $50 level. The key here is when you're creating your pledges, your rewards, I also like to call them perks, or what I call them honestly is I call them ethical bribes. An ethical bribe is a way of getting somebody to do something, create some sort of an action, and you're going to give them something for it or pay them something for it. In the TV infomercial world, it was simple. We always told you to buy X, Y, Z, and then said, but wait, there's more. If you buy in the next 10 minutes, if you're one of the next 100 callers, if you do this and if you do that, then we're going to do this. We're going to throw in a juicer. We're going to throw in a set of steak knives, whatever it is. This is kind of an ethical bribe that we've been doing for years, and it works really well, especially in the crowdfunding. It's built on ethical bribes. The ethical bribe is simple. I want to create a book. I'm going to write my book. Let's say my book is, or let's say I'm going to do a DVD. I'll give you my DVD here. So this is my DVD, The Ultimate Success. I should have taken the wrapper off of it. There you go. Ultimate Success is a movie that I was featured in 2010. It was produced and directed by Justin Sachs. It's a great movie. If you like The Secret, you're going to love The Ultimate Success, because The Secret's all about positive affirmations. The Ultimate Success is about what you need to do to be successful. Team building, how to strategize, and it's got great experts on it talking about the key elements of success. Now let's say that I'm going to crowdfund this movie. I'm going to say, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make perks and rewards along the way, or ethical bribes. Now I might say, if you give me $10, I'm going to give you the book that goes along with The Ultimate Success. And if you give me $25, I'm going to give you a copy of the movie. And if you give me $75, I'm going to go ahead and give you the copy of the movie, plus invite you to the world premiere in Los Angeles or New York, whichever city you can make it to. And if you give me $100, we're going to invite you to backstage during the filming. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do. Those are perks. Let's say you're writing a book, and your book is going to be, I'm going to use my book. Your book is going to be Crowdfunding Secrets Unlocked, okay? So this is your book, and as you write your book, you're going to be writing it over the 30 days of your crowdfunding. You might make the chapters in your book available. You might just say, hey, I want to make this section here, Massive Impact Marketing Messages, available to you. I might say, here's 10 tips, marketing tips for authors. This is chapter 12. There you go. 10 tips for marketing tips for authors. 12 tips from authors. I can't even say my own thing here. You might give that away as an e-report, just one chapter of your book. If you can do that, you can do it for a really low cost and then make it a draft chapter. And in that way, people can vote on what chapters they like best with their wallets. And then you know which ones to write first. So use your book as the #1 perk, or use your book in as many ways as you can as a perk in your crowdfunding project. I should note at this point that the number one perk in any crowdfunding project is the product you're crowdfunding. So if you're creating a book, the #1 perk is going to be a book. If you're creating a movie, the #1 perk is going to be the movie. If you're creating a DVD series, or if you're creating a self-help seminar program, the #1 perk is going to be just those things. So keep those in mind when you're creating your perks. Also, when you're creating perks, know this one thing. Test your perks before you launch them. Ask your audience, hey, what do you want? Those known quantity lists, go back to them and say, hey, you know me well enough. What would you like me to give you, and how much would it cost to get you to contribute to my program? How much would you contribute? So that's really how you design and leverage your pledges, rewards, perks, or ethical bribes. Now, the crowdfunding campaign buzz is a great strategy, and it comes from all the marketing that we've done over the years. So we're going to talk about that specifically in terms of how to leverage the media to get the most out of your crowdfunding campaign. So there's lots of opportunities for that. And for that, I'm going to turn to this book right here. This is From Mild to Wild. It's my good friend, Nikki Lundberg. Nikki Lundberg wrote this book. It's fun and easy ways to heighten your intimacy. Now, when she wrote this book, during her project, she did a lot of media marketing. It just so happened to tie very nicely, in timing-wise, to the 50 Shades of Grey phenomena that went on with the trilogy of 50 Shades. Now, she was able to leverage that into going into bookstores and doing a book signing for Mild to Wild. And she was able to hold special meetup programs around the 50 Shades series, which was an opportunity for her to market her Mild to Wild book. So that's a way you can create and leverage buzz. I want to also talk to you about, like right now, I'm in the middle of creating a campaign. It's a volunteer program that we're working on to help support breast cancer survivors through one bra at a time. We're going to help raise money for mastectomy bras for breast cancer survivors. It's called Support a Survivor. Now, I'm not quite ready to launch this, which is a little disappointing, because right now there's a lot of news going around with Angelina Jolie, who has just put out the fact that she had a double mastectomy voluntarily to help reduce her chances of breast cancer. She had like an 85% chance that she would get it, and they decided to do a volunteer double mastectomy as a result. And that would be the perfect time to tie the One Bra at a Time Support a Survivor campaign into the media buzz around Angelina Jolie. So that's what you want to do, is leverage whatever you can. If you're writing a book on emergency preparedness, right now is a great time to talk about that because of the tornadoes going on in Oklahoma just this week. So there's lots of ways you can tie into local media and leverage what you do in that respect. If you're writing a book on women's survivorship, how to survive an abusive relationship, or things like this, with the Jodi Arias trial going on right now, it's a key time to make yourself available to the media to talk about things like that. And then you can, of course, talk about your crowdfunding project or your book or your forthcoming book. Take advantage of every opportunity you can in that respect. That will help you get the buzz going on media, and you can translate all of that into your Facebook, into your Twitter, to LinkedIn, and to other media outlets like that, other social media outlets like that. Then approaching the finish line is really when things get exciting for you, because as we talked about earlier, you have your known quantity list. And the known quantity list is what you want to just leverage to keep your momentum of the funding going along the way and the sharing going along the way. But you also have the ability, if you haven't hit that known quantity list at all during your campaign, in the last 24 to 48 hours is when you can just dump all of those known quantities dollars into your campaign and watch it just rocket up through. Now, even if you're currently underfunded, in the last 24 to 48 hours, dumping the rest of your funds that you have available to you into that will help start the momentum again, and everybody gets excited. Everybody wants to be part of something that's already successful. So if you're funding and you've reached your goal, save your money to the last 24 to 48 hours. And if you haven't quite reached your goal and you're at the last 24 to 48 hours, dump everything you can in those 24 hours and make sure you're sharing your links. Make sure you're asking all of your friends and family to share your links, and make sure that that is getting the word spread out as fast and as far as wide as possible in the last 24 to 48 hours. Now, speaking of sharing your links, and this is kind of going to go back to a little bit of the crowdfunding campaign buzz and the approaching the finish line part. During your campaign, you don't want to do one thing. This is really important. I don't want you to get caught up in and become part of the NFL, the No Friends Left Club, okay? The No Friends Left Club is not a good place to be. A friend of mine named Steve, he talks about it all the time. He says, you have to be careful with crowdfunding because crowdfunding starts to sound like a multi-level marketing approach. It's like you're always hitting up your friends and family first. Well, I don't recommend that. I've been in this business too long, and I like my friends. I don't want them to turn me off. I don't want them to take me off of Facebook or block me or like that. I much rather embrace them and have them embrace me and help me. So the way you do that and not become part of the NFL is simple. Never ask for money on Facebook, social media outlets of any kind, Twitter, LinkedIn, MySpace. Don't do it. Don't ask for money on blogs. Don't ask for money on TV or newspapers or anything like that. Never ask for money. Always ask for feedback and shares. Ask people to view it, to like it, and to share it. Key, because people will always be wanting to help you, but they don't always want to be tapped at their wallet. Now, if you do a good enough job on your video at your crowdfunding site, they're going to be compelled to contribute. But remember, that's on your crowdfunding site. That's not in Facebook or Twitter or anything else. You're going to be talking to them specifically about sharing your links, because your goal is not, remember, crowdfunding is crowd funding. Funding is secondary. It's really not even the most important part of this message. The crowd is always the most important part of the message. We're going to talk more about that in a little bit. So let's go ahead and get back to the final finish line, and you've mission completed. You're done. Let's say that you overfunded your project and you're excited, but now you've got to deliver. You promised a lot of people a lot of things, from digital marketing opportunities, media, maybe copies of the chapters of your book, maybe electronic copies of your book. You now have to make sure you meet the expectations you set early on. If you promised to deliver things right after the campaign was over, deliver them now. If you promised to deliver them during the campaign, you should have delivered them already. As you approach that finish line, you've got about 5 days. In that 5 days of approaching, that's when you want to dump all your money in. That's when you want to get things done, mission accomplished. Now you have to set expectations and start mailing out your perks. Now start communicating with your entire community and thanking them profusely over and over and over and over and over again, because that is how you're going to keep the excitement. The next step is the what if. Now, what if you didn't fully fund? It's okay. You still want to thank every single person that helped you and contributed to your program. If you're using either Indiegogo or author crowdfunding, if you're using Indiegogo, you're still going to get the money in the next 30 to 60 days. If you're using author crowdfunding, you can take the money out along the way. So you should be thanking people at this point, even if you didn't fully fund. Thank them for their contribution, thank them for their help, thank them for their support, and tell them that you're moving forward anyway, because you will move forward anyway. If you didn't raise all the money, if you're going for $3,000, you only raised $2,200, you're still going to move forward and create a great product for them, and you're going to make it happen, because I'm going to teach you the leverage and the benefits of that. So the what if you didn't crowdfund at all, that's what happens there. Maybe you did crowdfund. What if you overfunded? Well, if you overfunded, we have a great example of someone who actually did a program. They used the author crowdfunding site. They went through the program. They crowdfunded all the way through. In the middle of their crowdfunding campaign, they actually did what they said they were going to do. So while they were doing that, they continued to raise more funds. At the end of their campaign, they had done what they said they were going to do. They delivered all the perks, and they had money left over. So they created a very special perk for every single contributor that came to the site, and that shared, they got one level of perk, and for everybody that actually contributed got another perk. So they created these two perks. It was really cool because they had extra money. They said, we overfunded. And when we overfund, this is what we're going to do. We're going to treat you with the kind heart of gold like you treated us. And then they created these new products for them. It was so awesome. It's so exciting. So if you overfund, plan on what you're going to do when you overfund and how you're going to use those extra funds. If you're making a book, are you going to make more copies of the book? You're going to maybe give some away to libraries or donate them to schools. I mean, think about how you can really leverage that overfunding and turn it into a real positive for lots of people. So now, we've talked about the crowdfunding 10 steps. Let's talk about why you need to do this now, because this is really critical and important. You could be noted as an expert in your industry already, but after you become an author, a book author, or create a DVD or a CD product, you become a noted expert in everybody's eyes. Now it's easy for me to hand this book out. Let's say you're going to use your friend's book. Let's see here. We got one right here. Let's say you're going to use Martin Presse's Booyah Guide to Great Public Speaking. Martin Presse is a friend of mine. He has this great book. Now, this is a pocket book. It's a little teeny book compared to, let's say, Greg Reed's book. Take a look at this. This is Martin's book. This is, I should do it this way. There you go. Why is it not in focus? Hello. So something's happening. It's not in focus. We'll come back to that. So let's say you have your book and you're going to create this book and make it a big book or a small book. It doesn't really matter. If it's a small book like this one, you're going to use this and people are going to pick it up and go, wow, you learn to speak and present like the pros. Martin Presse is an expert in teaching people how to speak publicly. Now, this is phenomenal because this is a great opportunity now for somebody else to present you as the expert in your field. And that is excellent. I mean, it's great. It can't get better than that. But what if you could go to an event and you could actually go to a meeting like a BNI or a LATIP, or if you're going to, like, there's a great networking opportunity here in Phoenix. It's called Networking Phoenix Signature Event. And the Networking Phoenix Signature Event happens twice a year, and it's phenomenal. I don't know how to refocus this. I wish I did. So we'll come back to this one because you don't have to look at me out of focus then. So if you're doing the Networking Phoenix event, now the one thing I've always found with every networking event that's happening out there, every single one of them, you're going to find there's going to be a fishbowl and they're going to do some sort of a raffle for prizes. But when you're at a big event or a small event and there's a raffle bowl, you want to take that opportunity. You want to take your book and you want to put it in that raffle bowl, because what's going to happen is during the middle of the event at one point in time, they're going to pull up that bowl and they're going to look into that and they're going to pull your book out. They're going to say, Jason Nast, Crowdfunding Secrets Unlocked. Jason, is this your book? And I'm going to say, hey, you pulled mine first. I guess I'm the winner. And then you laugh and you say, no, I'm just kidding. And they're going to say, Jason, you can't put your book in here. This is for business cards. And your response is going to be, but that is my business card. My book is my business card. And they're going to say, you can't do that. And you say, well, you know what I'm going to do? You go ahead and keep that book and give it away as a second prize. Keep the prize, give it away, and then take my book and make it a second prize. And they're going to say, well, I thought this was my copy of the book. And you say, well, I'll tell you what, I only brought 10 today or 20 today or whatever. I only brought 10 today. So I'll tell you what, I'll give you a copy. I'll give you one copy for the raffle. So that means I've only got 8 copies left. So if anybody else wants the Secrets of Crowdfunding unlocked, then they better come see me after the event. And you can sell your book right at the event. It's an amazing process. And the best part about it is that the leader of the event has actually edified you and made you the expert because they told everybody because they read your book. Now let's say you're a realtor and your book title is Scottsdale's Residential Real Estate Expert. And all of a sudden when they pick up the book and your name is on there and you're saying, Scottsdale's Residential Real Estate Expert, Rick Lambert. Well, Rick, is this you? And you now have been edified as the real estate expert of Scottsdale in everybody's eyes. Now, if you're a real estate expert, or maybe you are a insurance salesperson, how many times do you go to networking meetings and you're competing with 10, 20, 30 other insurance guys or real estate guys or dental hygienists or dental technicians? I mean, I know someone who goes to dental conferences. He's the only dentist that has his own book. Who wants to talk to him the entire time? Everybody, because he's the only dentist with his own book. Now, this is the way for you to maximize and leverage your sales opportunity by becoming a noted expert. You might already be an expert, but until everybody else in the room recognizes you as an expert, you're just an expert in your own mind. Sorry. You can easily become an expert by creating your own book or information product. Now, would you like to know how to educate your customers in such a way that they're begging you for more information about your business, services, or expertise? Of course you would. Now let's talk about this honestly. There's a thing called cold calling, and if you're in sales, wait a minute, let me correct that. If you have a pulse, you are in sales, and if you're in sales, you have to be able to make a cold call. Well, the question I have for you, and I don't want you to answer this question out loud because it could get you in trouble. If you're in sales and you're doing cold calling, when's the last time you cold called a prospect and ended up in bed with them that night? I'm going to talk to you about how you can end up in bed with your prospect almost every single time. And it's very simple. When you write a book, for example, here's a great book by a friend of mine named Sean Bolivar, and he wrote a book called Measures of a Story. Now, this is a great book because it's really about how to create stories. And it's a nice, easy book to read. So when someone gets this book, they don't read it in the car. They don't read it. They take it right home and put it on their nightstand. Now, when's the best time to sell your customer about your business, your products, your services, and the benefits that you offer? Would you like to call them while they're busy at work and they've got 14 fires they're putting out and they've got a secretary calling them saying this has to be done, that has to be done, or they're busy creating sales for their own environment? Or would you like to do that when they get home maybe and they're cooking dinner for the kids and they're putting out the fires at home, they're doing the dishes, they're doing the laundry, they're cleaning up the kitchen, they're putting the kids to bed, getting them ready for bed? Or maybe it's when they go to bed themselves and they settle in for the night and they want to pick up a good book and they just want to relax. And they sit back and they start reading this great book and they're like, this is good. I'm just relaxed. My mind is wide open. There's no blockades up. There's no secretary you've got to get through during your cold calling process. There's no gatekeeper. As a matter of fact, all the gates are open because I'm relaxed in my bed just reading this great book. Now, if you want to read a great book, Why not make it your book? I mean, that was Nikki's intention when she created Mild to Wild. She wanted people to read her book in bed. She wants this book to be laying by their bedside. It says fun and easy ways to heighten your intimacy. Now, the reality of it is, I also happen to know that my good friend Greg Reed, he wants you to have his book right by your bedside too. He wants you to read all about his prospects. You know, he's done some amazing things with the Think and Grow Rich Foundation. He wants you to be open-minded when you read his books. And that's the best place to be, is in bed relaxing, or by the pool relaxing, or sitting by a fire relaxing. Every time it's relaxing with people with open minds. Now, you write the book in the right way, you're going to be asking questions along the way. And how are they going to get those answers? How is that question going to get answered that's in my head after reading your book? You're going to give them an opportunity to go back to your website, or you're going to give them an opportunity for a free consultation, or you're going to give them an opportunity to come visit you in your office, and that's how they're going to get their questions answered. So, when's the best time to get your prospects to learn all about you and your benefits and to come calling and asking you for information? Well, when you're cold calling a prospect and you walk into a big room and you've got a book and you can hand out your book right then and there, and that person ends up reading your book and they want to call you and get information, that's the best cold call you could ever hope for. Now, you might also ask yourself, how can I, whoops, let me get to the next page here. How can I leverage my information into a business today? Well, this is Inc. magazine, and last year they did a study on the best businesses to start. And in 2012, self-improvement was considered one of the top businesses to start. It's an $11 billion industry every year. Americans are spending on self-improvement. Everything from motivational workshops, seminars, CDs, DVDs, books, workbooks, anything that you can get to motivate people and to drive people for a better self and a better future. You're in that business. You are in the self-improvement business. You are in the self-help industry. Even if you're writing a fiction book, you're helping people escape to a fantasy, which is in itself a self-help industry. Now, think about leveraging the power of Inc. magazine's suggestion on being the best business to be in 2012, with a 3-year future anticipated to increase at 6.2%. every year annually. That's some pretty big numbers. Are you going to get your part of it? I know I am. I want to be a major player in the self-improvement and self-help industry. The way I'm going to be a major player is by getting you off your tough and writing your books and getting them out there, getting your CDs, your DVD projects, and getting them out to the market. I want to help you be successful in doing that. I want you to become a major player, and I'll be part of your success. That's my goal. So, how would you like to get your customers to pay to advertise for you? It's an amazing process, and it's a very simple one. I'm going to educate you using a good friend of mine's book. This is Harv Eker's book. It's called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind is a fantastic book. And if you've ever been to one of Peak Potential's programs, the one you probably started with is Millionaire Mind Intensive. Well, the Millionaire Mind Intensive is a great program. It's a 3-day seminar that'll transform your life. Now, when Harv Eker wrote this book, I think it was in 2003, 2004 timeframe, he made it so that it was so absolutely not only possible, but impossible for me not to buy a large quantities of these books. Now, the market price for this was $21.99. But not only was he going to give me 2 free tickets to the Millionaire Mind Intensive for myself and my family, but he was also going to give 2 free tickets to anyone who brought the book with them. Now, when they brought the book in, they could actually get their tickets through this book. So I was able to give basically $2,000 worth of seminar for the cost of a book for $22. But it got even better than that, because Harv actually built in the program to where I could actually put my own number inside here. I could put my ambassador number on the first page, which meant that if I gave the book to you and you took the book and you got your free tickets to the Millionaire Mind Intensive, you would use my ambassador number. and then I would get a referral when you showed up at the door. It's pretty amazing because actually Harv was incenting me to buy his books and then give them away. Now, I bought 100 copies of this book the first time around. Since then, I've bought at least 50 more copies, and I've given them away over and over and over again. How can you write your book so that people will want to buy your book and give it away to the friends and family and to their people that they're influencing? You know, we had a dentist that did this, and what he did was he actually made it so that if you bought his book and then gave it away, if that customer, if I got this book and I gave it to you, and then you came into his office, not only would you get a free service from him, but I also would get a free service. So I could get a free teeth cleaning or a whitening or something like that. Now that is the way to leverage your book and to make it useful and to make it powerful enough that people want to buy multiple copies and give it away over and over and over again. It also builds long-term, long-lasting relationships as well. Now let's talk about what kinds of products you can create quickly and easily. Now, the cool part about this section is that I'm going to teach you how to do this, and I'm actually leading by example. So right now we're creating this cool video training for you. It's a webinar, it's live, and then I record it, and I'm taking the recording of it now and presenting it back to you. You're probably watching this at cfwebinar.com. So we recorded this thing so that you could educate and get educated. But I'm going to take this now and I'm going to take this off and burn it to a DVD and make it available as a DVD as well. I'm also going to take the DVD, the video, and I'm going to extract the audio. When I extract the audio, I'm going to burn it as a CD and also an audio download. So now I have one video that creates a video online, it creates a downloadable video, it creates a DVD, it also creates an audio product. Then I take the audio product and I send it out for transcribing, and it writes a book. So one video shot, one training shot, and I create 5 products out of it. Now I could take the book and I can break it down into smaller chunks, and I could make those articles and make 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, who knows how many products out of that. So very simply, if you have no way and no concept of how to actually create the product, I recommend you either do a Google Hangout like we're doing now, or you can do a audio conference call and use a resource called freeconferencecall.com. That's one of the resources that's available in your free gift and the resource gift that I sent you in the text. You can also use other tools, like you can actually just get on Skype and record that. So there's lots of opportunities for you to create product. Another thing that's very simple to do is to take your phone. If you don't already have an audio recording program on there, there's a great app. It's free. It's called tapeatalk.com. I'm sorry, tapeatalk.com is where you get it, or you get it at the Google Play Store or the iTunes Store. But it's called Tape a Talk. Go get Tape a Talk. It's one button. You hit the button and you start recording, and it'll record everything you say. You can record your notes. Another thing I like to do is if you're a salesperson and you're regularly making sales calls, or people are regularly calling you for information, hit your phone, hit Tape a Talk, and record one side of the conversation. What you're going to get in that is a frequently asked question list, and if your list is big enough, that frequently asked question list can become a book. That book could be the top 10 questions asked of a real estate expert, top 10 questions asked of a dental hygienist, top 10 questions asked of an accountant. You see what I'm saying? Anything that you like. If you happen to, like Pam works with autistic children, you know, she might get questions all the time from other parents. Well, she writes down her top 10 questions. Now she can provide it as a resource to people. It's valuable, and you can do that just by simply hitting record every time you take a call from a parent or take a call from your customer or client. So this is a simple way to create very fast products. And we talk about what kinds of products you can create. Well, you can create DVDs, CDs, videos, online videos, offline videos. You can create workbooks. You can create books themselves, ebooks, e-reports. You can create articles. All of this done from very simple tools. And again, the free resource guide leads you through all those free tools to edit audio, to edit video, to modify pictures for your books and stuff. So it's a really, really simple form you can use. So how can you create a product in the next 30 days? Well, I think I've done a pretty good job of teaching you how you can do it in 30 days. Just record yourself, videotape yourself, hold a seminar and record the entire seminar and turn it into a DVD self-help system. So there's lots of ways you can do it in the next 30 days. Now let's say you just want to sit down and write a book in a traditional manner. Well, there's about 150,000 books on how to write a book in 30 days or less. If you need a referral to some great systems on how to write a book in 30 days or less, I have those. You just have to reach out to me and I will provide those resources for you. I can really key you into the right kind of guy or girl to help you with your topic type. And there's several people that I work with that will help you through all of your writing phases. And I'd really love to be able to refer you out to them. So we'll have a little conversation about what you need and then I'll make the right referral to you. Now, the question you might want to ask is, how can Crowdfunding Secrets help promote, brand, and create sales in my business? And that's a very simple thing. I want to talk to you about leveraging your marketing potential out of crowdfunding. You know, crowdfunding, as I said before, there's crowd and there's funding. Well, funding is secondary. Remember that the crowd is the most important thing. So if you do your right steps, I'm going to give you one tip right here who has generated tons of money for people after their crowdfunding campaign is all over. Very simple. If you have a domain name, let's say you're going to write a book and your book is Mild to Wild, and I don't know if she has this, so I better check this, but let's say your book is Mild to Wild, and if that's your book, then you need to have the domain mildtowild.com. If you don't have mildtowild.com, you might want to check out mildtowildbook.com. Whatever your book is, Measure of a Story, it should be measureofastory.com. If it's More Power to Publish, you should own morepowertopublish.com or morepowertopublishbook.com. If you don't have either one of those, try the morepowertopublishbook.com. But find the book that you need. Like I happen to have Ultimate Success DVD. So you could do that, and whatever it is your program is, make sure you have the keyword and the URL to it. Once you have the URL to it and you launch your crowdfunding campaign, instead of sending somebody to kickstarter.com/project/117835281/mynewbookpublishingcareer.com, no, you don't want to do that. It's just too messy. Instead, send them over to your site, cfwebinar.com, crowdfunding secrets unlocked book.com. Send them to your website so that there's a fast and easy way to get it. It's easy to remember. It's great on radio when you can say, hey, I'm going to send you right over to my cool site. It's cfwebinar.com or crowdfundingsecretsunlockbook.com. Send you right over to it, and it's easy to remember from the radio, easy to key up. Plus, when I share it on Facebook or I share it on LinkedIn or Twitter or anything else like that, I'm sharing your resource, your URL. When that URL is forwarded to your crowdfunding project, everybody's going to go see your crowdfunding project. But at the end of 30 days, when the crowdfunding project is finished, that's when you're going to go and you're going to go ahead and revert it back to your website. If you have it on your book site, you're going to revert it back to your book website where people can buy the finished product. We had a great perfect person who was working. Her name is Krista. And Krista had a program called The Working Artist. What she did was a lot of feet on the street kind of marketing. She actually went around and to the local galleries and held great parties, and she gave everybody a Working Artist pin. Now, the thing is, it says at the bottom of the Working Artist pin, it has her website, theworkingartist.com. So when you went to workingartist.com, you got automatically forwarded to her program, her Kickstarter project. Or I'm sorry, it was actually Indiegogo. Went straight to her Indiegogo project. So when you did that for her 30 days, you were getting all of her Indiegogo project. You could see her website, and you could see the videos, and you could contribute and do all those things. The minute the program was over, she reverted back to her original website. Now when you go to her website, because all of the thousands of shares that happened during her 30 days, now when you go back to her website, it's theworkingartist.com. It's her website, and you can actually pre-order the product that she crowdfunded to make. So this is a fast and easy way for you to leverage all of the shares that you created throughout the entire program for long-lasting benefits. And I understand she has 30-something, I won't say 30, several pre-orders of her product because people going back to theworkingartist.com. So I highly recommend you check it out and pre-order if you think something would be like that. But that's the way you want to leverage your campaign to make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck for your marketing dollars. And really, you're not paying for the marketing here, so it's all free marketing that's going to last forever out in the old internet world. So the question is, who's crowdfunding for? And can you add $2,500 to your advance on your book in the next 30 days? Heck yes. Yes, you can. It is for you. It really, truly is for anybody. I mean, literally anybody with an idea can crowdfund. And thanks to Kickstarter and Indiegogo or author crowdfunding, you can add $2,500 like that to your campaign, to your bottom line, and help you get published now. That is an absolute fact. So let's talk about the tools you can use and that I have to offer to help you get your funding now. Now, what I do is I am offering a very special process right now. I have a complete program for information crowdfunding, and I am offering a 200% money back guarantee. I guarantee your 200% return on investment. Now, that means when you invest in my program, if you don't double your money on your crowdfunding project, I will continue to tirelessly make sure that you do reach that number no matter what the circumstances is. If we have to relaunch the campaign, if I have to work day and night, night and day to make sure that you double the money that you invested, I will do that. Now, I have a complete program. It's an audio program. It is the 10 steps to information product crowdfunding. And I cover the 10 steps that we covered earlier, but I go into much greater detail. We go through 7 hours of setting up your programs, building your strategy, laying out your crowdfunding elements, making sure that your framework and your platform is good, which platform to choose for your crowdfunding project. We lay all that out in the audio, and then I back it up with a video, a step-by-step screen capture of my computer as I build a campaign that you can model. I teach you how to lay out all the processes beforehand so that when you actually go to the website and create the campaign, you can finish, start to finish in under 30 minutes. Now, that sounds pretty good, but there's more because I'm also adding to that the Massive Impact Marketing Messages ebook, the funding guide, the Crowdfunding 101 book, which teaches you all the basic elements of crowdfunding and how to implement them to maximize the leverage of your marketing and branding possibilities. We're also going to include the 30-day workbook, the Ultimate Crowdfunding Success Workbook. Now, this is a step-by-step, do-it-for-you guide. Now, the way we do this is we lay out all the processes and you fill in the blanks. You fill in what plan you have for today, tomorrow, and the next day. You basically build the plan using our platform, and then you work your plan every day. It's an amazing process to help you reach your funding goals over and over and over and over again. Now, I'm not finished yet. With my background in TV infomercial marketing, I can't stop there. I have to say, but wait, there's more. We're going to do a double bonus. We're going to bonus you with Market My Stuff Invention, Patent, and Licensing Guide. Now, you might ask yourself, why, Jason, am I getting an invention and patent licensing guide? Well, if you look at some of the top phenomenal books in history, they were some of the largest licenses in history. For instance, I'm not even going to go as far as movie production, books like Star Wars turning into Star Wars or Star Wars turning into books. I'm not going to talk about things like that. I'm going to talk about Chicken Soup for the Soul became one of the largest product licenses of the 1990s and 2000s. I'm talking about even recently a fiction book, 50 Shades to Grey. You could call it a self-help book, though. 50 Shades of Grey series actually has become one of the larger licenses recently because what they did was they leveraged and licensed everything that they talked about in that book, from watches to ties to linen pants to cotton shirts to silk shirts to handcuffs and riding crops and all kinds of other things. If you haven't read the book, then you may not know what I'm talking about. I don't want to freak you out here, but let's just say it was a rather suggestive book, and they licensed all kinds of products with the 50 Shades brand now. So we include it for authors and for film producers and for musicians because licensing is a huge revenue model if you know how to do it. And we break down the processes and the benefits of licensing and the models, some of the complications as well. And we talk about that in the Invention, Patent, and Licensing Guide. I'm also including the ultimate resource list, which you already have as a gift. So I will actually provide it for you on the training download as well. And then we're going to do some double bonus downloads, and this includes the Create an Audiobook. It's an ebook because there's a lot of visuals and a lot of links and stuff that you have to click on. But I'm going to teach you how to create your own audiobook, and I'm not talking about just creating a video and then creating and ripping it out from there, but I'm actually talking about the process to create an audiobook and how to do the minor things like editing and billboarding and things like that. So it's all covered in the ebook. Then we're going to talk to you about podcasting, because podcasting is a great way to create new products over time. And it's also a way to build a loyal following while you do that. And we're going to give you the complete flow chart. It's an image that has a complete flow chart of how to create a podcast, including links to sites that you need to create your podcast, or places you might want to use to broadcast it, or to send it out and syndicate it. So we have lots of coverage on that. We're also, to complement the audiobook ebook, I'm going to give you a mind map around the audiobook. And what that does is it lays out a complete mind map on how to actually create your audiobook. So all of the pieces and puzzle are there. So if you're a visual learner, you can actually look at this mind map, and it really will walk you through the step by step very simply, quickly, and easily. So if you like all this, and if you like the information I've been able to provide to you today, and you find value in it, and you're looking for a 200% return on investment guarantee, then you want to take action. Now, how do you take the action? Well, you should be watching this site, you should be watching this training either on YouTube or on cfwebinar.com. If you're on YouTube right now, I want you to pop over to cfwebinar.com. For the next 24 hours, I'm going to make a very, very special price. Now, so before I tell you the very, very special price, I'm going to tell you the regular price. The regular price is $1,174.92. Now, I'm going to make a special offer to you no matter what. Of course, you know that. You knew that before you began the program. But what I'm going to do is our price, I'm going to drop it down to $250. But in order for me to absolutely give you the best possible price and to actually incent you to take action right this minute, I'm going to ask you to jump over to cfwebinar.com, or if you're already there, if you look above, you're going to see a link that says 200% guarantee and download now. I want you to click on that, and you are going to find this amazing price only available for the next 24 hours. You're going to find the amazing price of $100. It is a point of entry you cannot resist. Comes with a 200% return on investment guarantee, and it will ensure that your book is ready to go and published in the next 45 days. Get on it, do it now, and if you do it in the next 24 hours, you're going to get that for only $100. After 24 hours, the price goes up. It goes up to $250. So for now, for only the next 24 hours, jump on there, get it for $100. And I will also bonus you with a triple bonus now. I'm going to add to that, I'm going to say one, but I'm going to say two. For the next 24 hours, I'm going to give you 2 consulting hours. In the program, I tell you when to contact me, and I give you 3 20-minute consulting times to get your program situated before you're ready to launch, when you're ready to launch, and during your launch. I'm going to add an additional 3 20-minute consultation calls with that, so that I'm going to give you 2 full hours of consulting if you act in the next 24 hours. This is a no-brainer. This is a you can't lose. This is a if you are serious about publishing your book, getting it out to the market, and getting your message to the masses, this is something you need to do right now. Click that button, take action, get your 200% return on investment guarantee. I guarantee if you listen to the audio, you do what I tell you to do, you call me when I tell you to call me, we will make at least 200% back on your return on investment, or I will work nonstop until you do. So, it's a can't lose situation. It's a no risk, guaranteed situation but you've got to take advantage of it now in the next 24 hours. So I thank you for your time. I want you to take action and make it happen. Jump over to cfwebinar.com, download your entire 10 steps to information crowdfunding package, get started, get funded, and get published now. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful evening, and I'm so happy to have been of service to you today, and I hope that you all learned valuable information and I was able to provide a lot of value to you. And if you decide not to take advantage of the absolutely no-brainer, guarantee, must-win, 200% return on investment opportunity, take the free gifts, use them, and I wish you the best of luck in your crowdfunding campaign. No matter what happens, I still would like to be part of your success in the future. So thank you for coming. I appreciate your time tonight, and have a wonderful evening.